Greetings, YouTube. Although greetings, YouTube implies a positive, optimistic, friendly message, that this video is certainly not going to be. Thank you, Brian Shadowstrike, as always, for keeping me updated with the forums. So, do you remember how whenever we had, I think it was the Battlegrounds beta test, maybe it was the Act 8 beta test, I don't know. We had a small period of time where it cost nothing to change your mastery setup up. It was amazing. One of the best pro player short-term moves ever. Why they just don't stick with it, I don't know. Well, I mean, okay, I know why they don't stick with it. Because they don't make money when you change your masteries. And now, even if they don't make cash directly, they're still draining your units. You still have to pay to put your masteries back as they were, especially if you're like me and you go from full suicides to something maybe you don't want to use suicides. I feel like I'm the only person who does suicides with Battlegrounds. I don't know how I ever win. Because most people I fight against, they're Reliance War players. They're top, I'm in like the top 2,000 right now in Battlegrounds, which for me is insane. It's way too high. And I keep trying in a weird way to lose, but I keep getting about 50-50. That's a weird unintentional flex, but really I'm not that good. So, needless to say, they used to make the player base really happy for allowing you for a brief period, maybe it was like a week, to not be charged to change around your masteries. This is always fun. You know, I tell people all the time, like, if you want to try something out, sign up when you can for a beta test, like an Act 8 beta test, and then do it in the beta test, because at least then you're not going to be penalized. But unbeknownst to me, until this message was sent out, some of you, when you went to reset your masteries today, realized that you were not being charged. It was like that week with the Battlegrounds coming in. It was a welcome, exciting addition. This caused Kabam to post at the homepage of the forums one of the most code red, literally, messages I have ever seen them put out. And my goodness, is this thing overkill. Check this out. Look at code red, literally the background of it. Reactivating mastery change cost. Summoners, we will be reactivating the cost to change masteries ASAP. They were accidentally disabled, similar to how the AI is accidentally getting better. And we're accidentally forgetting to talk about the compensation changes. We're accidentally acknowledging that the game is not fixed. Choosing, this is the part that gets me. Choosing to change masteries now, assuming that when you go to change your masteries now, it's zero cost, may result in you having to pay for the change when the fix is implemented. Now look, you can read that a couple of ways, but what I do when I read that sentence is that it's like you think something was free, but then you log in and your units are less. But what happens to the people who have no units, right? Do they get negative units? Are they going to be in unit jail if they're charged for the fix when it's implemented? I don't know. I don't know if I want to know. But what I do know is that this Kabam message is insane. Just don't charge anyone. It's not like it cost you thousands of units, and it's the best thing that players have told me that they liked about this year's updates. So many of them wish that you could have just kept it at zero cost, because then it doesn't hurt the player base for switching around their masteries. Other games don't have this charge, but you all do in the Marvel Casino of Champions. It's also worth noting that you all said a couple years ago that by this time in 2022, if not in 2021, in the summer of 2021, a year ago, that we would be able to easily, for a unit cost, switch between mastery setups, and that is not here. So, it's like when we're waiting for the Wish Crystal, that you want to just do the Men in Black Mind Eraser in our brains and just make us forget that it ever existed. When something is pro player, even if it's a small thing like this, Kabam threatens, Kabam immediately makes a change, and they act like we just stole the game from them. But when it's a pro Kabam move, where there is lag in the game, where somebody like Nick Fury is turning into the real Nick Fury automatically, things can last days, weeks, months, heck, sometimes even years before it's fixed. So this is another example of Kabam sending out a crazy, unhelpful message in all red to top it off. Kabam, you're acting like this is like a nuclear detonator of the game. Really, it's no big deal. In fact, it's a pro player move that made your player base happy. You just were so out of touch that you didn't say, hey, if you weren't charged, you're welcome. Instead, it's like, no, we're going to take units away from you retroactively. You will not get away with this.